Yes, sir. In there.
Hello. All right. Y'all hear that in y'all headphones?
Yep. A little static.
Yeah.
I hear it too.
Felicia, come check this out. It's like a little static coming through the headphones.
When did that start? Like something touching or something?
What's going on?
Yeah.
What the heck was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't there when before I left. Oh, something. Okay.
Oh,
It's
there's that.
that interference.
Yeah.
Put it on that side and see from that angle, from Quezzy's angle, and see if it's still.
Should we stretch that for?
Let's see. Okay, that's cool on that side.
Yeah, that's
So I
what
know
it was.
I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
I was like,
Touching something too close to something.
I was like, Alicia's about to cuss me out if I record a whole episode.
Nothing
She
can
like,
be
what
what
is that
I
noise?
did.
What did you do,
I
Kat?
created the biggest mistake in my life. I had the best interview,
Uh-huh.
and I had gum in my mouth, and you can hear me just, really? I'm like, oh my God, this is the best interview in the world, and I ruined it with gum.
You can hear everything. My boy's always like, no drinking, no chewing,
Nothing.
Yep, no tapping on here.
Yeah,
So that's another thing.
Testing. Y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me too.
Yep. Go ahead and say something one more time, Alex.
Testing.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Perfect. You got the bio ready?
Sorry.
1 second.
Dang, y'all just scoot the headphones a little bit forward.
No, yeah, I think the phones.
No. I'm saying like, because I'm sitting right in front of the headphones right there, just scoot it back. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like that.
No, that way. Yep, out the way. Oh, now I'm in the. You see, I was not blocking it.
I don't want these here.
Put it on the ground. Oh, there we go. All right.
One of my headphones cutting my ears. Are your headphones good?
Yep.
Made a little noise. Testing.
Everything sounds good on my side. We're about to get to cue up the music. We good, y'all?
I don't know. Where are you trying to sit?
I'm just trying to. I just want to hear, but I don't need to. Because it's not long enough. It's okay.
We got those 25 footers at the house.
I know where you go, right?
Where is in my house right now?
All right, we good, y'all?
Yeah.
Boom. So I'm going to cue up the music. The music is going to go first. She said like 15 seconds, and then I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to do the introduction, and then you're going to hit the bio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real quick, call me Alexis.
Call you Alexis?
Yeah. That's what I be going by. That's
Alexis.
my grown. That's my
Grown and sexy.
name,
Grown
man.
and sexy, Alexis.
Alex, that's the turn up day. Man.
Alexis. We have Alexis in the building
Make
today.
me sound exotic.
You got Alexis down there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You ready, y'all? We're going in 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM in Oakland and online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show, and you're tuned in with Kenya Asa, Quezzy Dreams, and your man, Cat Fitness. Woo! You didn't sound fired up today, Quezzy.
Oh, hey. We ain't started yet. He gonna get there.
Yeah, man. We got an amazing episode for y'all today. we have a very talented Bay Area artist that's going to give us so much game, not only about how he's, healed from his art form, but how he's continuing to help the community uplift their vibrations and understand their true spirit, y'all. Can you give them a proper introduction over there, Kwesi?
Absolutely, absolutely. So our honored special guest today is Alexis Arriaga. He was born and raised in the Bay Area, hometown hero, and came from a long line of hardworking individuals. He's known for being a tattoo artist. You may recognize him or follow him at Authentic Black and Gray for the last 12 plus years, and it has helped him develop a relentless work ethic and a keen sense for business. Wow. In the more recent years, he has decided to use his resources to influence and uplift the youth and better the community with recent events such as Artists of the Future and the Judge Us Not podcast. So, round of applause, whoop whoop, for our special guest. How you doing today?
Man, real well. Excited. Man, I've been juiced ever since you called me yesterday, man. I've been fired up. So yeah, I'm ready to get into it, get deep too.
Yeah, man. We were talking off air, and I was like, man, I met you like 12 years ago when you first started your business, and to see where you've grown from that little personal studio to now, being one of the top artists in the Bay Area, all the community work that you've been doing, uplifting the youth, uplifting the community just in general. It's just amazing to see how you continue to grow over the years, Right now, like, tell me a little bit about how you got into art. Like, was it something that you started off as a kid, or was it something that you took in high school or as an elective? Like, how did you find your passion for art?
Yeah, so man, just real quick, I'm not even gonna get too crazy. And basically, I've always been into it since I was young. You know what I mean? I was like a little kid, drawing on the desk, drawing little.
You was a badass little kid.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, check it out. I used to blast the whole desk out. The teacher used to be like, "Man, that's so nice. I'll let it sit for a few days, but you gotta stop doing that." This and that. You know what I mean? But
you was a kid in the bathroom drawing in the cubicles and stuff.
So I've always had an eye for art or whatnot. But be honest with you, man, it's kind of crazy that I started tattooing. I never really see myself doing art as a career. Honestly, I was more into sports growing up, like high school and all that. That was kind of my thing. Yeah. And what's crazy about it was, I actually gravitated towards basketball. That was like my thing. Believe it or not, I'm not even tall or nothing, but that was my thing. I had my little bounce. I used to be able to throw it down and everything.
Yeah, he was a hooper, huh?
Yeah, I probably couldn't even touch the net now. But, that wasn't always the case. But anyway. I kind of just had that kind of cliche story of like, falling out of sports, not playing, and then just literally went down that road. You know what I mean? The turn up era, the partying, just a lot of drinking and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So during that era, I kind of wasn't really big into art, wasn't big into sports. It was party time. You know what I'm saying? If I'm gonna be, honest with you. Yeah. So then when I did that, I did have to, I ended up graduating. So I was like, I had to do something. I got to do something for money. Went to Wild Tech, went out there, a little 9-month program, for the automotive and all that. Yeah. Because I basically got interested in airbrushing. You know what I mean? Because I was like, hey, that's pretty dope. And I know they make good money too. Yeah. Always been money oriented or whatnot. Yeah. So I went there. Didn't actually like end up painting cars or anything like that. But it was crazy because we had a little. One time the guys came and they taught us about airbrushing for I'm thinking we were going to do it for weeks. It was literally a couple hours. Yeah. So I was
in and out.
So long story short, I kind of, I took a liking to it. I was kind of natural with the airbrushing. Mm-hmm. That led me to graduate from that school. And then I ended up starting doing airbrushing. So that's kind of where my career in art kind of started, was the airbrushing, the clothes back in the turn of era too, with the
white tees,
and the portraits on the shirts, all that type of stuff. Yeah, funerals and all that stuff.
Yeah, you taking back to the hyphy days.
Oh yeah, that was hyphy. Yeah, that was the era right there for sure. Sprinklers, all that stuff.
So how did you make that transition from being the airbrush guy to saying, man, I think I'm gonna start tattooing people?
You know what? It was actually pretty simple, man. Some friends of mine, they would always ask me like, man, you should do tattoos. And being, kind of art inclined and growing up in the San Paulo, Richmond area, a lot of the art was, numbers, letters, and streets and stuff. So I was
graffiti type
shit.
stuff.
I was like, I don't want none of that. You know what I mean? Like whatever. So, but then I actually started looking into it, and then the thing that really pushed me over the edge, if I'm being honest, was just like the financials. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I draw something for them. They go get a tattoo, come back and tell me how much they pay to get a tattoo. I'm like, hold on, what? Hold on.
My art?
I got the shorty.
Yeah, this is backwards, So it really wasn't a drawn out thing. I basically just ordered a tattoo kit and literally practice on one orange, watching the little DVDs. And I was like, okay, I got this. And again, what I was talking about, that I just did it. Ordered the kit, and I've literally been tattooing ever since.
Well, I gotta ask this question because it always amazes me because tattooing, there's no messing up
at all.
You know what I'm saying? There's no do-over. It's not like, oh, my bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, what was it like doing that? Do you remember the first tat that you did and like the pressure? Like, was you sweating bullets? Like, I gotta get this one right. Like,
man, bro, you know what? To be honest, like, I feel like I had a cool following with the airbrushing, and it was so funny because people just automatically assume, oh, I love his shirts. He can do the face on a shirt.
He's an artist.
I trust him. It's no airbrush and tattooing, two completely different things, right? And, they just really trusted in me. And the people that I started tattooing, basically looking at their tattoos, I was like, well, even if I mess up, I know it's gonna be better than that. You know what I mean? So that kind of took the edge off. You know what I mean? Just tattooing, people that wasn't really tripping. You know what I mean? Was just kind of happy to get a tattoo. So that took the edge off. I remember I used to just keep my cool. I'd be in there tattooing. Oh, hold on one second. Let me go to the bathroom real quick. They don't know. I'm going in the other room watching the DVD. How you doing?
Where do I start shading?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I've done that a lot. Like, I could be sweating bullets inside and you don't even know it. I'm like, I got this. You know what I mean? And most of the time it comes out.
Yeah. Who was your first client?
It was actually my boy Steve. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's my boy Steve. That was my first client. Shout out to Steve, man.
Shout out to Steve,
man. He created a beast.
He did. I definitely got to shout him out. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, he went down that road, and he's doing a long time in prison. But shout out to him. But yeah, man. Like I said, shout out to him because without him, because he was one of the main guys pushing me to do that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, and he wasn't tripping. You know what I mean? So yeah, that basically set off, a career of doing tattoos, and I've been blessed, man. Definitely blessed.
Yeah, and I see you got a few yourself. Are you fully tatted up? You still got some empty spaces?
Nah, I got a lot of room, man. My whole stomach and everything and chest is pretty much done, but I got a whole back that's barely touched. Legs. And, I got a lot more to go.
Yeah.
Now, do these tattoos that you got on you like symbolize anything to you, or are they just like?
They do, and that's actually, I'm glad you asked that because that's going to segue to the stuff I really want to talk about. But basically, a lot of it is money oriented. You know what I mean? That just goes to show you kind of where my mindset was when I was getting them. I mean, my hands, they say money makers. My hands were money makers. I got, bills here. I got money on my chest to where it just paints a picture of where I was when I was younger. You know what I mean? Whereas, especially coming from a lot of, I come from like workaholics. I mean, that's where we learn to like show our love through money. You know what I mean? We might not be here and I might be there, but what you want to do? I'm going to buy this, I'm going to take care of that. So, that definitely molded me. But yeah, so for years, that's all it was just money, money, money. Sometimes, that's a really good thing. It's kind of could use as a motivator, but sometimes it actually cause you to overlook, the moment, not be present in what you're doing. You know what I mean? So what it really brings me to is, to me, we talked a little bit about it, is I'm kind of in this mode right now where I'm like transforming kind of like my outlook on a lot of things. You know what I mean? Because I made, in this career, I made a lot of money, man. I blew a lot of money. It's gone. Like it came and gone. It goes through like water.
It's a transfer of energy, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially going from, working a regular minimum wage job to I can make however much money I want as long as I just keep drawing on people. Like it's you learn to like almost like not respect money. You know what I mean? Man. I blow it all. Oh, I just tattoo somebody tomorrow.
That's just 3 more tattoos.
Yeah, it's crazy. It develops some unhealthy, habits. You know what I mean? Oh, rent's due tomorrow. Oh, let's blow this back at the bar. I'll just go tattoo somebody and pay the rent tomorrow. You know what I mean?
What's the most you ever made, either in one day or one tattoo?
I would say in one day it probably would have been about $3 grand, and that's, I would say, so that might have been like the most, but you know, with tattooing, it's nothing. Like my average day is like 1,200.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but even that, you know what I mean? You learn to just be like, oh, okay, I could buy this car. I could. That's my car. No, that's one tattoo.
Some people make that in a month. You know what I'm saying?
It was me. And I did it really quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I went from that being, you know, I make that in a month to, I make that in a couple of days. It was literally like a drug dealer's dream, like a mentality. You know what I mean? So it's so I can, a lot of the stuff I see with cats going down that path of drug dealing, I can like resonate with them. You know what I mean?
The addiction part.
Yeah, the addiction part and the money having part. But like I said, lately, I really just, you know, I'm kind of like doing a little 180 or what is it, 360, whatever it is, switching around to just not everything so much money, using my kind of like go-getter mentality to like actually do some positive things for the community and for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, man, all these years, made a lot of money, turned up a lot, you know what I mean? Had a lot of fun and all that, but it's cool. I got a lot of cool memories, but I'd rather put my energy into something that's going to be a little more conducive to, you know, something beneficial for somebody else, especially more than the young kids. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So that's kind of where I'm at now. You know what I mean? And I know you know, we came to the healing circle. You know what I mean? That was kind of like the first thing that kind of jumped off.
Yeah. What was it? What was the inspiration behind the healing circle? Because I remember you reaching out on social media telling me about the healing circle, and it was a successful event. You know, you got a lot of people to come out. You're letting people, you created the space for a lot of people to just like let go of certain things that they were dealing with at that point in their life. And I saw the beauty in it. I was like, man, this is powerful. Nah, definitely. That was definitely a dope little collab. That was me and my boy Lace. Shout out to Stephen Lacey, owner of the Herb Shop. Shout out Lacey.
Yeah, owner of the Herb Shop right there in El Cerrito. But yeah, that was definitely just like a collective effort between all of us. And the idea for it for me was, that was around that time where it was a lot of the like the police brutality, all that stuff was going on. Everybody was so tight, you know. Unfortunately, we're all still like that, but in a different sense, you know what I mean? But yeah, that to me was very much needed, man. It was very like, everybody was so tight, so watching all these videos and all these protests and everything, man.
Let's get a little like behind the scenes, because you know sometimes we see those events transpire, but what was that conversation with you and Lacey before? Like, was y'all just like chilling one day at the house and it was like, man, we see this in the community, we know what's going on with the police brutality, we need to talk about this and we need to create the space for people to express themselves so it's not as much tension? To be honest with you, that's pretty much how it went down. We expressed the same things, and to me, because at least even the first one, we this will kind of sum it up too. We actually did a cool little exercise where we basically I passed out cards or whatnot. We had everybody write down a time when they've been felt like they was a victim of prejudice or just harmed emotionally, physically, something that they was holding on to, whether they got harassed by somebody they shouldn't have, they was feeling a way about or whatnot. Writing it down, taking the time. That's what I said. I had said a few words at that event where I just was like, I want you to think about how you were feeling during that moment. You know what I'm saying? And really just put yourself in that space. Think about how you was feeling, how it affected you. You know what I mean? What you're carrying. And then I kind of directed the people to kind of like, maybe just sit in that for a minute and then go, and we actually threw it in a little fire pit. You know what I'm saying? We did that. I was at that event and it was dope. A lot of people were able to just like let that energy that's been built up inside of them for so long be like, okay, now I have somewhere to release it.
Exactly. You know, because that kind of stuff on you, it has a lot of power. You know what I mean? It has a lot of weight on you. And if we as a community could just learn to let certain things go, it'll just do us a world of good. Because then when you see that new clip of somebody getting beat up or whatever, you're just taking that for what it is at that moment. You're not piling it on to the last 100 clips you done watched, that year. You know what I'm saying?
And I think the power within it is when you let stuff like that go, it removes that energy to allow new energy to fill that space.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
And I just want to remind everybody you're tuned in to KGPC 96.9 FM, We are here with Alexis Arriaga. He's dropping some amazing game. Tap in with him at Authentic Black and Gray on Instagram. Tap in with us at ach.show on Instagram. And also listen to us on the radio or online at kgpc969.org.
So, like, after you guys did that first event, like, you were like, man, we're going to do it. Y'all executed it. Saw the amazing turnout that y'all had. After that, what kind of sparked inside of you?
It definitely sparked a lot. You know, it's actually been a while since we did those just because of COVID. We started running into like park issues and bathrooms getting closed. And, you know, so, we just had to switch it up, take a break on it a little bit. But it definitely sparked it just got me thinking like, man, I really got to do this, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I know a lot of people. I have a lot of resources to where I got to step up and kind of be the person that kind of like puts these things together. You know what I mean? And that's what led me to the recent event that we just did was the kids art event. That was lit right there. That was something else right there too. That was cool.
So when you see like the kids being able to express themselves through art and being an artist yourself, like those seeds that you're planting inside the kids, do you tell them like your story?
Some of them I do. Yeah, some of them I do, or just like translate it to, in other ways too. You know what I mean? Even when I'm talking to them, I think I resonate with the kids a little more, is because even just how I carry myself, how I talk to them, I got tattoos. I'm not all suited. I'm not intimidating to them. You know what I mean?
Sometimes they look like somebody from the neighborhood.
Yeah. Sometimes too much. Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, hey, bro, I'm glad you're over here cussing in front of me. Like, come on down. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I definitely, I really kind of try to pinpoint on the kids just because I know they're young, and I know, I hate to say, but like almost like we have a little bit more a chance to kind of like guide them a little bit. Absolutely. Whereas it's easier to guide somebody that's kind of beginning their journey.
They're still open.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not as programmed as some of the adults that have been in life, and then they created this certain program in their mind, and their reality becomes that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They can't see outside of that program. Exactly. Kids is wide open. They're like, what? For real? I can be an artist? I can make this kind of money? I don't have to be a hooper? I don't have to do this?
Exactly. You know? That's real. Like, coming from the community, well, first and foremost, where are you from?
I'm born and raised in San Pablo.
San Pablo. Okay, so very Bay Area.
Yeah.
And how has it changed, if at all, in the last 5 to 10 years?
I think let's see, how has it changed? I mean, I feel like it's still pretty much the same. I mean, as far as like the way we kind of move through life, I think that's what's changed the most. You know what I mean? You're seeing a little bit of less kids outside, all those type of things. And that was another thing that struck my idea. I was like, man, I got to get these kids out the house. Especially, I try to be safe with everything COVID-wise, but like, man, we got to get out. We got to come out because I'm seeing the effects of it on these kids, you know what I mean? Already, even my kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when you say effects, can you elaborate on it?
Man, even just something as easy as like just open like communication, like communicating with somebody,
like in real life.
Yeah, in real life when you're greeting someone. When I'm out with my kids, I'm very much like, oh, well, you want a refill or you want this? Oh, ask the waiter. Use your voice. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and I know kids are shy, and as they should be. You're supposed to be kind of like aware of your surroundings and all that type of stuff. But I think it's very important for kids to use their voice because you never know who you're talking to, what it's going to lead to.
Exactly.
We spoke on this already before, a couple of conversations, and it's like we led to here, today. Yeah. So I really push that on the kids. Like if you have a question or, you whatever it is, you like something, somebody's clothes or something, like, oh, man, that's a nice shirt. You don't know how that person's going to take it. Maybe that person will need to hear it. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people today, especially in today's time, we're not communicating enough. We're not expressing ourselves,
Yeah,
we're not present.
That's so impactful and important because a lot of people, like Kat and I have these conversations often, but a lot of people are living through their childhood traumas, right? They're living through what their parents taught to them, either actively or inactively. And you all know as parents, kids see everything, right? So whether or not we want them to do the things that we've taught them to do, sometimes through our actions, they're going to do those things. So this conversation is super important. Like even something as small as telling them, hey, ask for what you want, right? Like that's really important because we all know kids are heavily influenced, but there are a lot of predators out there. There are people who don't have the best intentions for kids. So them like being able to speak up and say, I don't want that, I don't want to do that, is very, very powerful and can literally save lives.
Yep, exactly. Definitely.
Through this last event as well, because that was last weekend or the weekend before?
Yeah, last weekend.
Yeah. What kind of activities do you do with the kids when it comes to art? Do you actually teach them, or is it something that they just come out and they're able to express themselves through art?
This particular event was definitely more just coming out and expressing themselves. I am looking forward to get into the teaching because I definitely think I have a lane for that. But this one was more about expression, and even more important, like I said, from being a young age, I've always been, I was that kid, selling goldfish off the porch and mowing lawns, like that goal.
Yeah, that entrepreneur mindset.
That's out the gate.
You was selling candy at school.
I did all that stuff. To where, I tried to really implement that and kind of light that fire in these kids. So basically, it was like pretty much an art gallery. Where the kids, painted the pictures, they were able to name them, they were able to price them, which was really cool because then you had kids coming in, and basically the system I had was like when the paintings got sold, they got a stamp basically, so people looking could see, oh, that's sold, right? So what happened, which I wasn't even really planning, but it actually turned out cool, was the kids would come in, see their painting, see the stamp, and be like, oh man, mom, I got a stamp, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go out, come back in, oh, I got another stamp, so. I was trying to basically show them that, like, you work hard, you spend your time on something, you're going to get rewarded for it. You know what I mean?
And even on a deeper level, you have value.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very consistent theme. Like we try our best to bring a lot of entrepreneurs of color through our show, through Anything Can Happen, and just give our listeners and our viewers exposure to the mindset of an entrepreneur. Right? An entrepreneur, in my opinion, through the life that I live, it's just somebody who wants to create their life instead of having to live by what they're given, right? Like people who are willing to go out and hunt and put themselves on the line and make mistakes and take risks and fail forward, as opposed to people who are just living in a box, right? Knowing they're unhappy, but seeing anything outside that box is unsafe. And we want all our viewers and all our audience that's listening and tuning in with us, we really appreciate you. The way you can show your appreciation, do what you want to do. Right, go after that thing that you want. Listen to what Alexis is saying, because ultimately he was just consistent. Like that's how he got here. That's what he teaches the youth. Be consistent. Decide what you want. Try to not be so influenced by everybody around you. Decide what you want and put in the work to go and get it. It will be yours. That's extremely powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Just do it, man. That's just that go and get it done mentality. You know what I mean? Not
so you're telling us Nike got it right?
Yeah. Hey, man, that's one of the best slogans right there. Nike, they got it, man. They definitely got it. That's fine. Sometimes it is easy as that. Just do it. Like what you talking about? Just go get up, do it. You know what I mean?
I want to circle back to we were talking about tattoos earlier. Kind of how you got your start. Being in tattoos, and you have a few yourself. But how many tattoos do you have in total, and which one is the most important to you?
Let's see. You know what? It's so crazy. I never actually counted them. You know what I mean? Especially my tattoos, they're not like little stuff. It's like big pieces. So I mean, I'm just pretty much tatted my arms, my whole front is all that's hit up. But I don't really have too much of a number. But as far as the most impactful, I mean, I got Serenity across my stomach. That's definitely powerful, and that's something I kind of like have to telling myself, you know what I mean? I have to kind of remind myself, like, hey, sometimes it ain't all for me to figure out and to change and to implement my beliefs.
You give the power to your higher self.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Sometimes things you just gotta let things be. You know, do you.
So your tattoos are meaning.
Yeah, all of them for sure.
So was that always the intention, like your tattoo? Because of course there are people who just get like numbers and letters and street signs on their body just to say they got some ink, right? Like, was your intention always to have meaningful slogans on your body?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, definitely. People sometimes get tattoos that just it looks cool. You know what I mean? But I think if you really ask them and you really dig deep, I think all tattoos really have some sort of meaning. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's something silly or whatever, the meaning of that is to show that you're a lighthearted, silly person. You know what I mean? It's some sort of expression. Nobody's just like picking up things and slapping it on them. Sometimes you gotta dig deeper. You know what I mean? Some of the craziest tattoos I've seen where I thought For me, I'm like, man, why you,
Tweety Bird.
Why you want that? You know what I mean? And then they explain the story, and I'm like, wow, that's deep. You know what I mean? That's real. You know. Yeah. So it's just the eye of the beholder. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know, perceived value type thing.
So having kids, because my two oldest is 15 and 17, right? And they're starting to talk about tattoos, right?
Wow.
And Pop's got ink. So I can't really say like, no, don't go get no ink, because I think my first tattoo, I had to be 15. I got my first tattoo at 15. And my parents, my dad had a tattoo. My mom had no ink. Nobody in her family had ever had ink at that particular time. So it was one of those things that, it was like I had to hide it from my parents, right? But my kids were like, hey, I'm interested in getting some ink. How do you feel about your kids, at a young age? Being a tattoo artist, now saying, like, once they get into their teenage years, be like, hey, Dad, I want to get a portrait, or I want to get something on me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely open to it. I think for me, I'm all about the why. I swear that's like my favorite.
That's the exact same thing I told my kids.
I'm about to get a question mark tattoo on my head pretty soon or something. That's how much I'm about it. Because when you got to start asking the whys, by the third why, you really start, well, maybe I really don't want a tattoo. You know what I mean? You really start digging deep. So I think if they was to ask me, I would definitely say, like, well, why? What are you thinking? What do you want it for? This and that. And that.
What does it represent?
Yeah, you know what I mean? If it was something super meaningful, whatever, like I said, I'd definitely be down for it. But if it was just
would you tattoo your own kid?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think that actually be dope. I think that actually be pretty dope. Hey, replay that. Hey. Tell my kids that, man. They don't believe me, man. My kids were so embarrassing me, bro. So I'm like, what are you? They cool. I'm tatted up. What you mean? Yeah, man.
How old are they?
My youngest is 7. She'll be 8, and then my son's 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you got time.
Yeah.
You got time.
Hopefully, they get a little older. They'll start recognizing my coolness one of these days.
Yeah, one of the things they'll reflect. They'll look back and look at social media and be like, "That was pretty cool back in the day. We were just kids."
And I would be just like, "Yep, told y'all so." Finally,
that's fine. That's fine. You spoke on your why, right, and how important the why is to you. What is your why? Just in life and your mission, all the things you're doing in the community, in your personal life. What is your driving force?
I would have to say, basically, just to inspire people, man. Just to get people up and actually doing something. You know what I mean? I think for me, especially right now with like social media, from what I'm seeing, I see a lot of content, a lot of quotes being put out there. It's just like an explosion of just like positive. And then it's like, to get up and go do something with your two hands and put something together and taking time out of your personal things you got going on and actually do something. Now that's what's really real to me. You know what I mean? Exactly. And I think for me is I realized just off of what people have told me, they're like, man, you really just like do it. Like people talk about stuff, you just like get up and do it. Like even if something seems, unobtainable or just hard or stressful, you just like, oh, well, that's what I do. Let's just do it. Yeah. So I'm using kind of that attribute, I guess, to like motivate people and just kind of get people to be like, man, come on, let's do it.
Where do you think that stems from? Like, was that something that you saw in your parents, or is that something that just like from starting your own business that kind of just grew?
I think, that's a trip. I like that question. I think a lot does have to do with my parents. My mom was raised with my mom, single mother, who was raised by her mom, single mother. So I come from a long line of just single, strong, independent women, you know. To where that definitely, is going to just put that image of like, oh, just let's do it. I can do it for myself. I don't need anyone. Yeah. So then that translate over to where I was a kid. And, I remember being young, I played with a lot of kids, but you can give me a basketball or just a ball, I throw it out I can do it. I don't need to you don't got to tell me, you know what I mean? So so I think that as a grown man, it's kind of stuck with me to where it's like, whatever it is, oh, I want to start tattooing. All right, well, what do I need? A kit? Let me order a kit. Now I'm tattooing. It's not, oh, what I got to learn, I got to do an apprentice. No, I got YouTube. You know what I mean? I could read, I could figure this out, you know, and, it's teamwork and all of that is very good. But to get things started, man, we all have it in us just to put one step in front of the other, and get stuff going,
And have you ever messed up a tattoo?
Yeah, I'm sure I have some. I misspelled a few things.
Kobe missing shots.
You know what I'm saying?
Brady throws an interception.
Exactly. You know, not all words are meant to be spelled correctly.
It's art for interpretation.
Exactly.
Before we get any further, y'all listen to KGPC 96.9 FM in Oakland, online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show. Make sure you stay tuned in because we are having an amazing show with Alexis, and he's kind of just diving deep into the art form of life. You know? Yeah.
We've been asking you a lot of questions, and hopefully questions that are resonating with our audience. I'm fairly sure because it's resonating with myself and Kat. But what is something that you want to share with us? What is something that you want to share with our viewers and our listeners?
I would think, even just as you were saying that, what was coming to mind would be just for the viewers to kind of just think about their time and what they do with it. You know what I'm saying? And if they're being as most, as efficient as they can. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a lot of people, wishing for things like, oh, I wish I had this, wish I had that, this and that. But their actions don't really show that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You can tell me every every Netflix movie you don't watch,
everyone,
but you can't tell me these other things. You know what I mean? So I think that's powerful. Just looking yourself in the mirror and asking yourself, okay, I have this dream or I have this business plan, I have this. Am I really doing my all? You know what I'm saying? And if the answer is no, then go do it and stop talking about it, or forget about it and go to work and be like you know what I'm saying? Like just stepping up to the plate, man. I think there's a lot of chatter, a lot of talk, and not enough doing, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
and I really relate to that because in the work that I do in finance, I talk to people every single day. People who have these huge grand intentions for their life, but aren't willing to put in the effort to get there. One thing I've learned is to have a deeper sense of empathy. Because in school, at least in public education, we're taught that failure is fatal, right? We're taught that if you fail, then you're going to go to prison, or you're going to die, or you're going to go to hell. That's essentially what we learn in school. And then people carry that throughout their entire lives. And no wonder they're afraid to do different things. No wonder they're afraid to break off. And that's why I love talking to entrepreneurs. Why I love talking to people who are willing to break off from that traditional system of go to work and work until you die, but actually create your life and create heaven on earth, right? So what you're saying is extremely powerful, and I really hope people are learning how to be intentional with your time and why time is so important. So
definitely, and it just comes from like you said, a lot of fear instilled in us through society, through whatever it is, social media, looking at your pictures, or dang, they doing this and that. I'm not even gonna try because I know I can't do all that. I
can't keep up with that.
Just realizing, man,
just fake life.
Look through the smoke and mirrors and realize, man, just everybody's got their issues. Everybody's normal. You know what I'm saying? And we all could be, doing things.
And I think that's why shows like this are so powerful, because when people start putting other people on pedestals, based on social media, because that can be a highlight reel for certain people, and you actually get to conversate. Like it's so funny when I meet people that I don't even know but follow me on social media and be like, "Oh, you're really like the person on social media. Like you like that, really you?" Who did you think it was gonna be? I don't know. Sometimes I meet people and they're not who they portray on social media. It's a different version of them. And from the events that I've been to that you've hosted, from meeting you back in the day, you've always been you. You're very true and authentic to who you are, and I think that resonates with a lot of people, because then they can feel like wherever they're at in their own particular journey, they can just be them.
For sure. That's actually a really big one, man, and I've actually realized that even more lately, because like I said, I'm moving into this mode of being very community based and wanting to just kind of inspire other people. But then on the flip side, like we have our podcast. Shout out to Judges Not podcast. We started doing that a while back. That's really moving forward. I'm loving that. But it's like we may talk about topics, or I might, explain certain things that might not necessarily be like, oh, that's the
politically correct kind of thing.
And then for a minute I was like, man, how am I gonna do this? But then I realized, like, hey, man, like We all human. These are my real comments. I'm not putting on a show on that. I'm not. You know, I'm never acting.
I'm not trying to appeal everybody.
Yeah, exactly. To where it's like, yeah, I might speak on something that somebody might not necessarily agree with, but then at the same time, I'm still doing my best. I'm still trying to do these things for the kids to where it took I guess you could say, the judgment off myself. You know what I mean? So
you're keeping it true to yourself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about Gender Snot Podcast. Like, are you by yourself? What do you talk about? You have guests on the show. Talk to me.
Yeah. So that's a really cool project we just started. Shout out to my boy Mac McIntyre. His Instagram's at McIntyre.
Hey.
He brought the idea to me. And long story short, he was one of the people that brought this to my attention. He was just like, man, I got this idea for this podcast. And he brought it to me knowing that I was going to make it happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is what he's told me. He's like, bro, I know you have an idea and you're feeling it, you're going to make it happen. So he told me, I think within like the next week, we were, buying mics and set up with my boy. Shout out to Damien Dante Media. Yeah. I was just like, man, what do we need? And then so I knew Damien. So I linked us up, and then he was like, "Oh, okay. Well, we need this, and, So now it's definitely, it's like a full blown podcast now. As far as what we do, it's really cool, and I think it's dope. It's kind of actually pretty similar to what you guys do for sure. It's just giving people a platform to speak their mind, and actually guest wise, we have people on there that might not necessarily kind of like taboo-ish type of lifestyles to where they can kind of say their journey and not really get judged on, and we bring up topics that are kind of controversial, and we kind of just give our 2 cents on, you know what I mean? Okay. No judgment, just kind of let loose.
Yeah. Where can people find the podcast?
It's actually on all platforms. It's called Judge Us Not. It's on YouTube, Instagram, pretty much every podcast platform you can think of. It's Judge Us Not podcast. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, sure. So you got a lot of things going right now. You got your hands in a lot of different pots. All of them seem really important and impactful. My question is, what's next? Right? Like, what is the next stage of Alexis Arriaga's development?
I think the future is looking bright for sure, especially with my mindset. And I feel like the more things I do, the more, the more kind of like doors I go through, it's just picking up a lot of momentum. You know what I'm saying? To where it's, like even just sitting here with you guys today is like it's really big for me. Shout out to Kevin for hitting me up because, this is important to me. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple years ago, I might not have been able to make this. You know what I mean?
Wow.
You know what I mean? I've been laying in the bed.
Might have overthought it.
Yeah. Or just just living that different lifestyle of just, drinking and stuff like that. So this was, I was like, oh, it sounds good. Yeah. I might have did it to kind of cover up all these other things I was doing, you know what I mean, to kind of play the part. But now it's just super genuine, you know what I'm saying? And it's just it's definitely got the energy for it today.
Yeah, I know we kind of talked off air and you was like, man, this is perfect timing. This is kind of like a segue to these other projects that I'm moving forward and I'm about to announce. Can you tell us a little bit about those projects?
Yeah, definitely. So I got 2 more. I'm going to take a little time in September to kind of orchestrate a couple other things. But in October, I got 2 events that I'm juiced about. So one is going to be called the Tiny Tattoo Expo.
Tiny Tattoo Expo. You heard it here first on Anything Can Happen.
So I'm pretty juiced about it because as far as I know, nobody's ever done nothing like it. So basically, it's going to consist of, I don't know if you guys ever been to like a tattoo expo or tattoo convention.
I heard about it.
So basically, it's just, it's like anything. It's like a car show or anything else. Like they have booths, where the art is out there, and then basically behind the booth is like people actually tattooing people at the expo. Yeah. So I'm gonna set it up the same way, like I said, tiny, so it's gonna be definitely a lot smaller, but it's geared towards the kids. Okay. You know what I mean? So instead of people doing tattoos there, you're gonna have kids behind these booths. Wow. You know what I mean? So there's gonna be a banner of this kid. And it's basically gonna be his art out there, and then basically tattooing other kids, but like markers and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna throw something out there.
All right,
I want to throw something out there for the tiny kids. Yeah, write this one there, and you got it from the Anything Can Happen show. I wanna copyright this real quick.
Yeah.
So why not? You know how when you go to like the state fair or any of those kind of places, you have the artists that have the paint.
Yeah.
Right, and they do like little portraits and stuff like that on the skin. Why not have that be the kid doing the art like a tattoo artist for other people.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been
I thought you about to say
No, but that's basically essentially that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna be having kids, but that's a super theme. Like I'm gonna have them have gloves on.
Yeah,
Like they're really doing a tattoo to where they're drawing on
with the paint.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. So when is it and where?
So I haven't like the actual weekend, but it will be in October for sure. And it'll be at the same building right there in El Cerrito, 11265. Yeah. Be on San Pablo
Say the
Avenue.
address again?
11265, Unit B, San Pablo Ave.
All right, outstanding.
And for people that are listening to this episode, they want to keep updated with the information for this project. Where can they check it out? Do you have it on a website or do you have it on?
That'll be my personal Instagram.
Okay.
So Authentic Black and Gray. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we're posting everything. Yeah, pretty much using that to channel all my little events and stuff. But yeah, super excited for that. I have a bunch of tattoo artists out there. Pretty much, we'll probably break it down like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to where like I have little seminars, almost like explaining what we do as tattoo artists, and have some little art contests.
Any vendors out there?
Yeah, I'll probably have a few vendors out there. Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna have anything can happen out there.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen out there. There you go.
Collab.
Yeah, but it's gonna be cool. I think cool visually. It's gonna be super dope. Imagine a bunch of little kids with a bunch of fake tattoos all over them. I think as far as like the tattoo culture is way more accepted. These kids, they're not growing up with tattoos being super taboo. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just part of the culture to where why not educate them on them? You know what I mean? Inspire them to maybe go into that field, or even just just give, like I said, get these kids out the house and give them something to do.
And what's so interesting, I mean, like the actual history of tattooing goes back thousands of years. You know what I'm saying? Like tribal and everything like that. Yeah. So it's really been a place in our culture, but we don't really look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? The actual history and how long our ancestors have been doing this practice from when they had a stick and just some ink. Like people still actually practice that certain way of art and tattooing. I know, was it Polynesians or and Islanders still practice those ways of tattooing and everything.
Yeah, sure. Japanese, they still do a lot of that hand tattooing traditions.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. So I'll be completely honest. It's the anything can happen show. So my father.
You're ready to get a tattoo. You're ready?
I got my machine in the car.
All my cousins, as far as I know, all my cousins have tattoos. I just had another cousin. Shout out to Tommy. He just got a new tattoo for his birthday, number 29. But I am not a huge fan of needles. Yeah. And I'm not a huge fan of pain. I'll deal with pain. I'll tolerate pain, but I'm not a huge fan. So what would you say to somebody like me who wants to get a tattoo, but I don't want to have to endure?
I say let them go to the car and get the kit real quick. We're gonna go live. We're gonna get your first tattoo on air today.
Or go to the Tiny Tattoo Expo and get a fake one.
Hey, if y'all want to see Quezzy get a tattoo right now live, we need you to share and like this because we have
my cash out real quick. Y'all gonna pay for it.
But I definitely, man, it's definitely doable. I mean, there are some topical, numbing agents that you could use and all that. But I would just say for somebody like that, maybe pick something on the smaller side just to kind of get your feet wet or whatnot. But tattooing is so unique. It's one of those experiences you can't really explain it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of my people that are our first-time clients that haven't had any tattoos, they built it up so much in their mind to where it's this crazy, painful process. And when they get it, they're like, man, like it hurts, but like I can deal with it.
You can tolerate it.
And that's an experience. And that's where you get the people that go from no tattoos to fully sleeved up the next year. Because they're like, that was all it was. Now the addiction kicks in. You know what I mean? Now I need another one.
That's dope. That's how it goes. Any other projects? So I know you mentioned the Tiny Tattoo Expo in October, but what else is going on?
And then another one in October. I'm really looking forward to October, as you can tell. But I actually got another idea. It's going to be the haunted hallway of horror.
Haunted hallway
so
of
we
horror.
We gonna keep it real scary. Yeah, we're gonna get it real scary
like
for
it.
October.
Yeah.
So basically, the whole layout of the building, like where I'm doing these events, it's more of a narrow, type of layout. So basically, my idea is to just have it like pretty much like a haunted house kind of hallway. You know what I mean? To where you basically make your way straight through it, and then at the very end, we'll have somebody crazy scary out there just handing out candy or whatnot. So I would probably do that for like a 3 days straight as well, because it's gonna be a lot. I'm not talking no little just Ricky Dink. I'm talking about like I'm trying to do some movie quality type stuff.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a lot going into
Ain't
that.
No trying, you doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna do it. I know a few people that come to mind that they're all into that stuff to where it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So again, the motivation with that again is to just let people creatively express themselves with making all the props and all the things like that, and also too just getting people out. You know what I mean? Getting the kids out, giving them something to do in a safe environment. You know what I'm saying? Let's face it, like the trick or treating kind of dwindled down the last few years. You know what I mean? So
it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, definitely not. So we can use something like that to kind of go and hang out for a few days.
Absolutely.
That's huge. And I like how you keep on saying these 3-day events.
Oh so much goes into them, especially something like that. A lot goes into these things to where to just take it down real quick. We're gonna get our work out of it.
Yeah. And if there's any way that anything can happen, show can help out, we love to, even if it's getting dressed up, passing
promotion, marketing.
I appreciate it. Yeah, for sure. Dress up for sure. We're gonna have a costume contest. We're doing all that.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But as we come to a close, we just like to know from you, like what are some things that you would like to leave with the audience? What are some things that you would like to share? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I think, like I said, what we was just talking about was just as far as just doing, you know what I mean? Don't overthink it, you know what I mean? Just, if you got an idea, it doesn't have to be this grand, scheme of things, you know what I mean? Just what's the first step, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, you know what I mean? If it's opening a barbershop, okay, well, do you cut hair? If you not, then learn how to cut hair, you know what I mean? There's so many ways to learn how to even do that, just do it. And everything else will start falling into place. Just do it, man.
It hasn't been a project where you just started and you're like, maybe I should have thought this out a little bit more.
I'm glad you said that because they're not all home runs. And you know what it is too with that is I might have an idea where I'm like, oh, this is really cool, but then I start into it and I'm like, dang, do I really have the attributes or the patience or the sometimes certain skills that you just really ain't built with, you know what I mean? And then I learned that, and then I'm like, okay, instead of like beating myself up, I got to get better at that. Nah, let me just stay doing it.
And I think the biggest thing, because I've came across that quite a few times, it's like you come up. Sometimes you're the creator of the idea, but it doesn't mean you necessarily have to execute. You can partner with other people that have the skill set to execute these ideas, and they can perform at a high level where it relieves the pressure from you.
You know what I'm saying? You know who is the master of that? There are actually two that come to mind. Right?
Who's the master?
So Steve Jobs.
Okay.
He was a curator.
Yeah.
You don't realize he wasn't an engineer and he wasn't a salesman.
He had the vision.
Yeah, exactly. And he put Apple together, right? Literally brought it back to life. And also Diddy. Daddy P. Diddy swag. An excellent curator, right? And there's so much money and talent and respect that goes with that position.
Yeah, for sure. That's a skill, man. That's definitely a strong skill to have. You know what I mean? We definitely need that.
For those that are listening, you don't always have to be the person that executes these projects. If you have a project that's on mind, you're like, I don't know how I'm going to get this started. Just start putting it together, getting the pieces to the puzzle, y'all. Taking the resources that you may have, or just putting that energy out into the universe, whether it's asking for help through social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever social platforms you have access to, or just talking to friends and family that are encouraging, that might lead you in the right direction to say, oh, well, I know a person that actually does that. Because a lot of times that's what happens. We have conversations like this, and it's a person that you don't even have contact with, but your friend does, or your cousin does, or a coworker or somebody, and then everything starts to come together.
It's contagious. You know what I mean? Everybody want to right away. You know what I'm saying? And certain people start them, and then certain people just hop on them. You know what I mean? So where it's so like I said, communicate. Open your mouth and be surprised what's out there waiting for you to waiting to help you.
Yeah, and I know another fear that a lot of at least aspiring entrepreneurs have is, well, I don't make any money at first, right? Or I go into a lot of debt and just all these sometimes misconceptions, sometimes reality, right? I know you mentioned in your own journey that you started out and then you started making some money, you blew a lot of money, you had to kind of rebuild from scratch. So how did you get to, do you feel now you're in a stable position, and how did you get there?
I think so. I think in the stable position comes from my mindset. You know what I mean? My mindset, I feel like, is the most important thing, because no matter what the situation, if your mindset is strong and you're confident and you just you're just willing to take risks, everything's going to hit you a lot different. If you're very tense, like to me, I could stop tattooing tomorrow and do something completely different. I'd be okay with that. Where a lot of people get so stuck in that persona, or that this is me. If I hurt my hand and can't tattoo, what am I gonna do now?
Oh man,
nah, yeah, exactly. And I think you got to be a little bit more versatile with your life. You got to be able to take chances and all that. And it's not for everybody. That word entrepreneur, it can get a little, oh man, I want to be an entrepreneur, make my own out. It gets glamorized, but man, not everybody's built for it either. You know what I mean? Like I said, some people will start the wave, some people just need to hop on it. You know what I mean?
You can just be part of the collaboration.
Exactly, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean?
Your skill set is part of the collaboration, and you're a key piece to the puzzle.
Yeah, that entrepreneur life, it's very it takes a lot of sacrifice for sure. There's a whole lot of things I don't know nothing about. You know what I mean? People always laugh at me, my boys, and man, boy, you don't know nothing. When it comes to sports, events, current event, if it's not conducive to what I'm doing and what I'm going through, I have no ears for it.
Focus.
Focus. Exactly. And that's what it comes down to, focus. Sure.
I remember before I started my entrepreneur journey, I was really into sports. I knew everything about every athlete. I even watched freaking hockey. I would watch curling, right? I would watch World Series of college baseball, right? And just all these things that provided entertainment, but they didn't provide me actual tangible skills that would allow me to go out and make money and take care of my family. And I love what you said about mindset, right? Your financial stability didn't come from making more money. It came from understanding how money can work for you.
Hey, what's so interesting? You just said that though. Now these days, you could have actually took that skill set and became like a YouTuber,
right?
Or Instagram that only talks about sports.
Yeah.
Gives straight commentary. You know what I'm saying? If that was your passion, and you're like, man, I just love watching and talking about sports. Yeah. You can literally create a podcast, a YouTube channel, Instagram just on that, and build a brand, and boom.
You know, perspective is
everything. Don't even have to overthink it.
Perspective is everything. I remember a few times I would look at people that play a lot of video games, and I'm like, man, you wasting your time now, man. These people get the bad.
6-7 figures a year.
I need to start playing video games. But I think it's just all perspective and being open minded. You know what I mean? All that type of stuff came from not being so boxed in with that. Oh, this is the only route to success.
You got to do it my way.
Yeah, man. It's we can do, man.
It's a new world.
It definitely is, man. Just take advantage of it. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't taking advantage of what resources we have out here.
But they will listen to us.
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go.
So we're getting towards the end of the show. Let everybody know all the platforms they can find you at. The recap on the events that you're going to be doing, dates, times, the whole nine.
All right. So quick recap again. I'm still finalizing the days, but they'll definitely be in October. That's going to be the Tiny Tattoo Expo. Remember, it's a little tiny tattoo expo for the kids where they're going to be drawing, painting on each other, a lot of tattoo knowledge given by real tattoo artists. That's going to be a 3-day event, as well as the Haunted Hallway of Terror. That's going to be another 3-day event, and both of those will be in October. As far as the handles go, man, everything is
Hold
just
on.
Stop.
Because she said start cueing the music, and I hit the music.
Stop.
It's all good.
Felicia, can you hear us? Felicia, can you hear us?
The live, man.
No,
this is behind the scenes right here on the live, man.
You could open the door. We're not recording.
But you know, that's a good point, Felicia.
I guess thank you. All right. What's going on?
When I was cueing on the music like you told me to towards the end of the show, when I hit the button, it started a different recording.
Okay.
So how
it's
do
just a matter of just making sure that but that should be it. That's it right there.
Yeah, but it started a new.
Oh, it started a new one?
Yeah, it started a new recording. So how do I go back? Yeah.
Can we continue
I
on
can,
the last
I
report?
can fit. Yeah, it should add it on to the next one. I mean, it should add it on the back end. So I don't know. Did you stop recording?
I just hit. I hit
and
this,
and it just opened.
And it opened up a new one, and I stopped this one.
Okay, so I guess it's to me it sounds like it confused the controls for the music to the recording. So, but you just clicked it, right?
Yeah.
You didn't.
Is that what you did in the beginning?
Right?
Yeah, I went to click the music, and then it opened up. Huh?
It recorded it in the beginning.
In the beginning.
Yeah. In the beginning, we got the music. But when I went to open up the music again.
Well, don't worry. I'll do in post-production. We'll figure out what
happened.
Okay, so just turn on. I'm going to turn on the music lightly, so and then I'll turn it.
But you could do it now, and do wrap it up, and I'll just add it onto the
back in. Okay, I'll hit record, and we'll just finish up. So we got like 2 minutes left, y'all. Okay. So
can we listen to where we left off?
Yeah, you can.
How do we do that?
So just go to the end of your recording.
Oh, okay. I see what happened. Why did they bring us to the front? I thought it was starting a whole new one.
All that content.
Yeah,
Oh.
Some good stuff.
Some good waves.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. See, behind the scenes.
So it looks like you guys, you captured it.
This is why you have to have a production manager.
Yeah.
That come on.
Hey, this stuff is so confusing. I don't make none of this. Wait, Damien, shout out to Damien Dante Media, man. He's all this for us.
Yeah.
I'm so bad. Talking about just finding out what your skill set is
Yeah.
and being able to work with others. That's what I got to do. Numbers and all and letters and words.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
pass that on.
Yeah, I pass out in too many numbers. I'm like, man, just tell me when to go and when to stop.
Yeah. So we can go back just one.
Okay, just let me listen to the secret.
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna turn your mic off.
Little time to.
Okay, go ahead.
Gotta run that back a little more.
So start at where that. Just play. Just play.
To Expo. Remember, it's a little time to.
So that's where you dropped off.
That's where we left off. Can you go back a little bit more, Kat? Like to when you first started talking, or the question you asked him.
So it sounds like it got cut.
so just
Like more, just back more.
Just back.
more.
Just
Yeah,
right
that's good.
about there.
That's good.
And now hit play.
Days, but they'll definitely be in October. That's going to be the Tiny Tattoo Expo. Remember, it's a little time to.
Okay,
Can you go back more than that?
so start at that question.
Yeah, I think you asked him like what are his socials.
Yeah,
So is that what you were?
I was talking about that,
Okay.
and then I was
So
about
this
to
is-
start talking about the haunted
Okay.
house, and then I was going to give my Instagram.
So this
Okay.
is at
Okay.
54 minutes right here. Is that what it's saying?
So go back. So what I think Quasi's trying to do is find where you asked where he asked the question about upcoming
Yeah, so
events.
Kat asked the
So
question.
you can like start
Alright.
from there.
Is there a rewind button? Or is it just you just
In the
right
days, but they'll definitely be in October. That's
How'd I
going to be
go?
the Tiny
Okay,
Tattoo
I'm
Expo.
a-
Remember, it's a
Move it in the way.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Okay, that's good.
Okay, maybe there.
that you're going to be doing, dates, times, the whole nine.
All right. So quick recap again. I'm still finalizing the days, but they'll definitely be in October. That's going to be that tiny tech.
So right here.
Oh, so just have them start from the beginning?
That's going to be that time.
Right. So what? But he's kind of like that. All right. So let's keep that.
October. That's going to be that tiny tattoo expo. Remember, that's a little tiny tattoo.
Sounds like he started right here. It looks like an already.
But they'll definitely be in October.
It's back more than that. Yeah.
Right about here. Excuse me for just leaning all over you.
All right. So
yeah.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
he started right about there.
Quick recap.
Nope. So.
Right. So quick.
There we go. So let's start here.
Ooh.
All right.
Wow.
Now let's go back. So right about there. So if you want to start potting the music there, or you can just wait for him to answer the question and then pot the music up.
Okay. And if I hit play again and it takes me back, then just keep going, or
no, because you do not want. Because what'll
I don't want to record over
what you'll record, so you'll have your show.
That's why I stopped.
And whatever you had at the end will record right over your show, and it won't.
That's why I stopped.
Delete the information. It'll just be a double recording.
Yeah. So why are we playing the music right now?
Oh, just the end.
So close it out.
To close out your show. It's kind of like okay. It's kind of like an indication. Also, you give your audience with listening cues that you're about to wrap it up. So
let's just start recording.
Okay, and don't forget to turn your mic back on. I'm starting to get a little bit feedback. I think because your mic is on and it's in whatever you're connecting with. Somewhere some device is on and it's kind of picking it up. But don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's not. I don't hear it now.
Okay.
So you're good. And go ahead and.
All right. You know where?
Yeah. Can you do that there? Right. So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it was more right there because these are the all right.
Oh, no.
Right? All right.
So you're gonna say so. Okay. All right. Tell me when you're ready.
So we got the Tiny Tattoo Expo. Again, that's going to be pretty much just like a miniature tattoo expo for the kids. You know what I mean? Where they're going to be, drawing on each other. We're going to have art contests, things of that nature. And we also are going to have the Haunted Hallway of Horror. That's where it's pretty much going to be like a haunted house type event. It's going to be 3 days as well. To reach out to me, everything is going to just be going through my personal Instagram, which is Authentic Black and Gray. That's Authentic Black and Gray, just spelled out just how it is. And also take a look at and subscribe to any of the Judge Us Not podcast platforms. That's Judge Us Not. That's on YouTube, any podcast, Instagram, everything's the same. Judge Us Not. Boom. Yeah, man.
Man, thank you for coming through and just dropping so much great information, great content to our viewers. Kwesi, where can they find you at on social media?
Absolutely. Any and all things financial. Tap in with me, Kwesi, at Kwesi, KWESI.dreams. That's at Kwesi.dreams. Also follow our business page at Alignment Agency on Instagram. Holla at your boy, Kat. Where can they find you?
Well, make sure you continue to tune in to KGPC 96.9 FM in Oakland and online at www.kgpc969.org. You can find your man Cat Fitness on IG at Cat Fitness 3, Facebook Cat Fitness, and the website is www.catfitnesswellnesscenter.com for all holistic health questions. So we'll see you next week. We appreciate y'all and have a great day.
Boom.
We're in there.
Damn.
Oh, man. That's what's up, man.
Come
I
on.
appreciate y'all, man. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Wow,
I like
that
that.
was good.
Hey, you see that? You see
Yeah.
that bounce back skills we had, though?
Yeah.
That's
Come
what
on.
the mindset
They
is.
threw us a
You know what I'm
curveball.
saying?
Yeah,
Somebody
we just
else
roll with the
would've been like,
punches.
Yeah,
oh,
we
man.
got that though.
Man, we
that.
messed up the whole show.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
got that.
Nothing ever works out right. Nah, we just, man, we chilling, man.
Come
It's
on.
good.
Entrepreneur life.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta roll with the punches, man.
That's it.
That's what's up. That was dope, man.
Yeah, we'll find out. We actually have a meeting right after this. So we'll find out when the episode will air.
Okay.
Cool. Feel free to post the live.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that too, because some people are like, yeah.
No,
For sure.
That's cool.